Yeah, very big welcome to you, my dear Virgo. The Earth has continued its path around the Sun, and so now when we look at the Sun, we see the constellation Leo behind it. And when we look at the Moon, who has also continued its path, and we see the constellation Virgo behind it. So here we have the constellation Leo and Virgo, and I place it to the left because I am reading the reading to the left, and it's because you have your new moon in the next month, and I've decided, because I'm still working it out, how I'm gonna do these readings. And the interesting thing here is that I recognize that the left spinning cycle, right? When we have someone facing the left, it's not the past, it's actually the soul. And so the new moon is when you have sun and moon in your sign, and so it's a left spinning energy, you coming back to your home, you arriving. And so that's why I'm actually doing the readings from now on until the new moon, all to the left, and from the new moon to the full moon, all to the right. And so today I decided that the reading is going to the left, because in your next reading you have the new moon, and that's when you have arrived at your home, right? At yourself, inside, deep within, in your soul energy. So, ruled by the Sun and ruled by Mercury, the 5th house of fun and joy, and the 6th house of health. The yoga position for Leo is, of course, the lion's breath, and the yoga position for Virgo is the mountain pose, right? We're up in the mountain and we recognize ourselves in this moment, the tantric union that we are understanding when we understand the Hermit. The Hermit is a healer, and here in Salvador Dali, this is Luca Pacioli. He's a Renaissance teacher and calculating artist, and he was the one that found the modern bookkeeping. And so I recognize that deep within myself, that I'm fascinated by numbers as well, because the mathematical background of this universe is quite precise, and I do everything with the numbers. I see the pictures, I see that Leo is calling you, but I also see the 8. I see that infinite 8. The inhale that gets the information, the exhale that brings the information here. I see the picture here with Virgo, but I also see the 9. I see here a 5 and 4 lines, right? This is the Roman calculation. And I love numbers, and I recognize more and more that the numbers really speak to me, and that they are unmistakable, right? It's the picture the artist could have had a moment of, yes, epiphany for him to put here Luca Pacioli. And yes, I do feel the numbers do work for me, but maybe for someone else it's not working. But a number, it somehow has no, it's blank. It's like you can add to the number 9, which is the completion, whatever for you completion means. And so I recognize that because I have the Hermit in my chart, and I see, of course, that this is speaking to me as well. So the Hermit is the healer. He's the one that helps the others to find the light. And when you look at his lantern, and I turn it around, you see in his lantern here this child. So Leo is calling you. Leo is saying, hey, check now the path to the left, right? The soul path, we're going to the new moon, and then we go back to the full moon. So I'm going to read like this, right? 6 months to the new moon, 6 months to the full moon. And Leo is like, encouraging you, yes, go, go. It's important. It's literally the wild side that is calling you here to take that path. Your court card is the Caballero de Oros, the Knight of Pentacles, right? And if your birthday is between August 13 and September 11, this is your court card. Now we know that usually the horse is dark and doesn't move and goes to the right. Here your horse goes to the left, and you have this like epiphany, you have this like moment of like, I recognize. You have the flag here. It's very interesting. You're a completely different personality here in Salvador Dali's deck than when I look at Rider-Waite, right? So this is your court card. If not, look in the description. I have listed all the court cards down there. Back to the last reading. We had Cancer Sun giving Virgo Moon the light. And the message was, take that leap of faith into joy only true self-love can give you. Right? So you had Libra, you had the ghost dance, and you had the woman that is in ecstatic movement of the dance. And yeah, Cancer is healing as well, but it's also the success. It's a success that makes you want to go forward, makes you want to experience your emotional side, very important. And so we will see now what Leo wants to tell you, because I mean, he's really calling you. So now I'm taking one more card from the Lifruma Healing Oracle, because here we have the rune alphabet in it, and I really think that is important. And it's my newest discovery of the tarot deck. Apple Bear, fruit bearing offerings. Now you can stop the video and even get it big and read it yourself, and I think you will then recognize what vibrates deep within you in this message. But I see grapes, and I see the line. This is the rune letter called Apple Bear, the number 49. So you have the 4, which is then connected with the 4 elements, or also the Emperor, and the 4 is the heart chakra. So something is wanting to tell you there are 3 grapes, right? So we recognize that Leo is calling, because Leo is connected with the heart, and that's the 4, right? The 4th chakra. And the 9, there you are, right? So here you are looking over into the left spinning path, and you see here that you're getting this beautiful card. We all grow from seeds to shoots to trunks, creating branches bearing beautiful fruits. It's up to us to heal and prune, ready the room for our offerings. Not every branch is pure, nor every idea worthy of fruiting a thought into a seed, to be passed on and planted. Odin cuts himself down too early. Thor does not repeat his father's path. He walks towards lore, releasing his ancestral past to blossom, mature, and be his own apple bearer. So, yes, there are a lot of fruits now. When we look closer, there are a lot of fruits, and so something wants to blossom, something wants to grow, and calculated together, the 4 and the 9 is the 13. And the 13 is something needs to die before we can truly blossom. And 13 is the death, is Scorpio, and then calculated together we get a 4. So in the 13 we have the 1 and the 3, the Magician and the Empress. And then out of that comes the Emperor. So let's have a look what this reading wants to tell you. And we begin on the position of the Fool, the El Loco. And you see he is in this deck facing the right. Usually he faces the left. And the 10 of Wands is connected with constellation Saturn in Sagittarius. And it's doing a lot, almost to the point where you feel oppressed by all the things that you have to do. And interesting enough, there is one wand up here that is saying, well, cut through all of this, because this is the 10. And you see the beautiful pattern though that is being created through the 10. It's a new cycle has come, and it can be a barrier, but it can also be something that is giving us hope that something can be created after 10, yeah, 5 here and 5 here cross each other. We get this beautiful pattern. And patterns in us sometimes oppress us, but patterns can also help us to understand the vastness of this universe. And so the state of consciousness of the Fool is about, I am who I am, and I am recognizing that every moment a thought can come to me and I act upon it. And I recognize that something here is consciously letting me know you have arrived at a new cycle. You have arrived at a new cycle because you have the 0 and the 10, that is 100. So you go from 0 to 100. And 100 is a lot. 100%. You're 100% in it to pursue something, to do something, to create something, to act upon something. Then, on the position of the Magician, comes the Vision Quest, the number 60. So, with the Magician, it creates a 61, right? And then that becomes a 7, and the 7 was back then with Cancer, the message that you really understand what self-love means. And so then you see how she is opening herself completely up into this pattern and this oppression sometimes, right? Because the Saturn in Sagittarius is also called oppression, is not affecting you whatsoever. It's almost like you have understood that this pattern is now speaking to you in a very profound way, and it's almost like you in the human path, because you're facing in this opening, in this vision quest, that you want to break through this pattern, that you want to break free. And so the 7, which is then that leap of faith, right? It's almost like, yes, now you're taking a leap of faith through the Magician, the 61, then the 7. So Cancer Sun back then, take that leap of faith into joy only true self-love can give you. And so, yes, you are open yourself completely, because that's the result of the last month. And here you see that something is giving you an opportunity to break free from oppression into the human path, right? And so we're going to continue and see what else is coming. Then on the position of the High Priestess, she's the intuition. The Magician is the inspiration. He is pure inspiration, right? These are state of consciousness. This is not like a person. The Magician deep within you has that inspiration. And the Fool is always that foolish idea that just all of a sudden comes to you. Here on the position of the High Priestess, you get the 7 of Swords, the Lord of unstable efforts. Now, unstable efforts is that moment where you are recognizing that there is an inner dependency. There is an inner questioning all of it. There is an that you are a victim, and that these swords are blocking you, and you see though that they create a very beautiful dome. It's the same dome she is sitting in. It's the same dome that he is in. You see this? This is it's like a portal. It's like an opening. And you need to see that the 2 and the 7 creates then a 9. And that the Hermit has an opening here as well up, right, with this jewel here. And in my card as well, there is this opening. There is this, like, here we recognize there is the higher consciousness that is streaming in. And she is helping you to actually see and connect with the 7, because the 7 again comes back to Cancer. The 7 is then here a 7 with this, a 7-7 portal, right? When I have the Magician here to the 6th, and the 1 is a 7. So we have a 7-7 portal. But recognize that you are now seeing your intuition, and that you can cut through all this bullshit. Sometimes there are people that are giving us a feeling of that we are connected, but it's not honest, it's not true, it's not what you think you want in your life. And so here you create your own intuition, here you create your own moment of a portal in your mind. Then comes on the position of the Empress, here the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man is the number 12. And so the 1, the Magician, and the High Priestess together, right? If I have a look at the cards, so you have a 6 and a 7, that creates again a 13. The 13, again, the Death, right? And death in this case, it's more like I am transforming, I am really letting go. And so here this portal is opening, and then you can truly let yourself hang. So the Hanged Man is a state also of craziness, right? Because who hangs himself upside down? In yoga, we love to get into inversion, because I have my feet up in the sky, in the heavens, and my head down on earth. And I recognize that everything is opposite. The feet up in the sky is like I am helped by the heavens, and he lets go even of the money, he lets go of everything. And so there is a 3-3 portal when we calculate it together, right? So the 3-3 portal, and you see the portal, right? The 3-3 portal that you can see through the High Priestess here, and also through the Magician, right? We see that there is an opening, and that this reading just before your new moon is like bringing you let go, bringing you like it's time to really release the fact also that maybe you hang on to things and you might have to let them really go, right? And you know, he is hanging, and it's not a situation where he was forced to be in this position. He's like putting himself there because he has understood something. And so the High Priestess is literally saying, well, let go. This is the pre-stage to the number 13, and the 13 is always Scorpio, right? Is the death, is that big transformation, is that diving deep down and recognizing you giving birth to a new state of consciousness. And we have the 13 here as well, right, with the 49. Then the fruit, or the fruit bearing, or the offerings can happen, can come to you. Then comes on the position of Leo, the 9 of Pentacles. Now have a look. You see again in the Magician the dome. You see this? She is herself now the one that is praying for the understanding that she is the portal. This is the constellation Venus in Virgo. So this has something to do with you. You also have, when you look at her, she has again that dome. She is now connected in it. She doesn't need a building anymore. And now you see that Leo has called you to be strong in whatever it is that you're going through, to be strong and to know that your own prayers are all you need. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and here one coin above you. You know that you, through this connection of these 2 times 4, you are connected with what it is that you want in your life, and you will get it. You pray and you manifest it, and you coming deeper and deeper down to yourself. You coming up here now on the position of Leo is saying, yes, you are ready to really go deep down, because that's what in the next month is happening to you. You're going to be really deep down in your own understanding of the 8 and the 9 creates the 17. And the 17 is the age of Aquarius, which is also connected with the left spinning path that I talked about, because the left spinning path is connected with the wobble the earth does, and there we get an age when we calculate it, when we divide it through the 12 zodiac signs, an age of 2,150 years. And we're going currently from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius because it's to the left. And so here the 17 is literally telling you, yeah, you will have the passion, you will have the craziness to then be really yourself in the age of Aquarius, because Leo is opposite of Aquarius. And so here comes a very strong message to you. You continue your path to the left, to the new moon, because there you're going to get a big message, right? And also remember the 13 that came up here, because the 13 is that big transformation that we're learning to accept, right? Now, interesting here, the 12 and the 3 is the 15, which is Capricorn. And so Capricorn is the social status that we want to climb, right? And here something is saying, no, you really have to let go, because 15 is the magician and the 5 senses. And when we recognize the 5 senses, we don't want to be attached to the 5 senses. We want to liberate ourselves, and that's what the Hanged Man is bringing to you. Then on the position of the Knight of Pentacles, here the Caballero de Oros, comes the 3 of Swords. Now you have 7 swords and 3 swords. That's then altogether 10 swords, and 10 swords usually is then a cycle completed. But here with the 3 of Swords, right, we get Saturn, that Swords, this is the constellation Saturn in Libra, and Libra is in the next reading. And so maybe you already have more of a Libra energy deep within inside of you, right? Because from the 12th of September, the Queen of Swords is connected with the Court card. And the interesting thing is that I have the Hermit as a major arcana, but as a court card, I'm the Queen of Swords. So I have this two-sided energy deep within me, and so it's really important for you to have a look down below in my description what the date is. So the 3 of Swords, that's of course world pain, but also a mother grieving for her child, or in general someone grieving for someone else. A very, very difficult moment that you maybe go through. You are praying for this child. Maybe you're praying also for healing, because the Three of Swords, it's like, you know, it's that, you know, sometimes they say, of course, it's a relationship, there's a third person involved, and I don't see that really. I see, yes, the heart, there are three swords stuck in the heart, and it's like you are in a painful situation, but you're the sixth zodiac sign, and there are three swords, so that's a 9 again. So there is something deep within you that you can heal on this day because you are praying. You are here, of course, with the 8 and the 9, which was the 17, and the Age of Aquarius is all that mental stuff, right? Remember, you had also 7 swords, so you have 10 swords, and sometimes that can be quite a lot. But the Three of Swords, that's also like you are seeing something that is hurting you. You're in a painful situation, and so sometimes it's to accept it. Krishnamacharya says, when we accept the suffering as a jewel, we can really embrace it and even like be with it. Then on the position of the Hermit comes the 7 of Cups. And so this is really important now to understand. You have 7 of Swords, and then you have 3 swords, but you have the 7 of Cups, which is usually the illusion, right? So the illusion to recognize that we live the dreams, or live your dreams. You want to live your dreams, but it's not easy to live your dreams. And you see how he has 1, 2, 3 arranged here and 4 standing here. So it's almost like these 3 cups are here with the 3 swords. And this difficult situation here, you actually have already an emotional counterbalance. Because the illusion card is the constellation Venus in Scorpio. And you had here the 13. You had here the understanding that something is actually ending so that new things can grow. And so recognize your fears of love, of truly loving, of loving deeply, fearlessly, and recognizing that the 9 and the 7 creates a 16, and that's the Tower. Something is breaking apart. And when you look at this, you see a head, right? And you see the eye. You see that? So Salvador Dali was like hiding a few cool information inside of sometimes his paintings. And so recognize these 3 cups, clearing these 3 swords, and then you have here 4 more that give you that illusionary state of consciousness that you have to recognize, right? Because you have the 7 and the 7 of Cups, so they counterbalance, right? And the 7 of Swords is masculine and the 7 of Cups is feminine. And so something is happening, right? Something is bothering you, something is actually really like hurting you, but this is all illusion. Even the love that we think that we have and we can hold on is not really what we can hold on to. The only love that we can really be assured of is our own. And so the message already, take that leap of faith into joy and truly self-love, into joy only true self-love can give you, is calling you again, right? Really love yourself, really understand that this is important. Then on the position of the moon, which is in your sign, and you have through Pisces now your counterpart, the 18, where only 2 times the 9 fits in. We have the 14, the drifter, the experiencing life as it comes, right? You recognize that something must be done in this illusion here, in this painful situation here. Also with the 10 of Swords, when we calculate them all together, you learning to drift. You learning to say, all right, the 14 calculated together is a 5. The 5 senses, I let go. And the 9 here, the 9 and the 5 is a 14, and the 5 is left. So the 5 senses calling you and recognizing that you learn to let go, that you learn to accept that certain things just change and are not the same anymore. And so here you are, learning to drift, learning to really let go. Then on the position of the sun comes here the snow, the silence. So when you let go and you drift, when you are experiencing life as it comes, then you can see that all of a sudden silence comes to you. And here this is the number 34, the 3 the Empress, and the 4 the Emperor. Right? Power in the heart, power in making yourself quiet. The 10, the 1 and the 9, of course, of the 19th card here is then again a completion. You are completing then this cycle, right? The 10 of Wands. And the 10 and the 7 is the 17. And the 17 is again the Age of Aquarius, calculate together the 8. So see that you have understood that the silence, the prayer that you have started through Leo, because calculated together this is then an 8, right? So here the 8 is saying, well, Leo called you. Leo called your attention. Leo wants you to recognize you need to take life just as it is. You need to go deep within to the healing. And when you heal, you recognize that the silence has always been there. You don't need snow. The silence has always been there, because then on the position of the world comes Leo. And so you see now that Leo is one facing the left, one facing the right. Interesting, right? So after your next new moon session, where we also go to the left, but there is no other sign, there is no Leo calling you, there is only you calling yourself. The sun and the new moon are both in your sign. You have closed the cycle from the right and from the left, and then you go back to the full moon, back to a glorious outer journey. Now you're going on an inner journey, and you see how he has called, and she stands next to him, and here she can sit on him, and they're unified and they're together, and there's the 8, the invisible 8 inside, right? And so Leo's power to bring you the healing into the world is speaking here to you. We have the 21, which is again the High Priestess and the Magician, calculated together, the 3, the Empress. And so the Empress is saying, well, now have a look, because the 8 and the 3 is an 11, is a portal. You are the portal. You are the one that creates whatever it is creating. And you see the world out there calling your attention, but you have the 3 graces, right? Because the 3 is left here in the world. That's love, hope, and belief. And when you believe that you can do anything, and that you can now again go back in the other direction to the world, and you see the silence, and the silence has brought you into empowerment, then you can overcome all these negativities that are visible here in the world, right? I mean, it's a really intense card, because, I mean, that's what the understanding is of the world, because here we have the resolution of contradiction. And that's what the 3 graces bring, right? Belief, hope, and love. And so you notice now that the 10 of Wands, to close the reading, the 10, is necessary sometimes, right? Certain moments are necessary for us to wake up. Certain moments are important that we can embrace whatever it is that we need to embrace. And she's opening her arms and she's literally saying, I am ready. I am ready to love myself. I'm ready to open myself for this world and learn and recognize that I can create my own tree. I am now the master. I am sitting on the lion and I'm the master, and I can be whatever it is that I want to be. And it's all up to you. It's up to you how much you want to then come into this portal of the 11, right? And in a way, you have here a 1 as well, right? Because it's a 10. So it's like a 1, 1, 1, 3 times the 1. And you don't have another 1 anymore. I think you had somewhere, I had a 10 of, you do have another 1. So you have 4 times the 1. Right? 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 5 times the 1. And that is clear. You learn through the 5 senses to understand that everything has a reason, that everything has its moment, but you can get out of it. And if you know how to get out of it, that's all you need to know, right? Because you have a 10 here as well. Now I see it, right? So you have 6 times the 10. That's the third eye. That is knowing deep within you. You know how to handle any situation, and that's it. You are made to conquer this world. You are made to create your own apple bear, your own branch, your own tree, and be successful. You are able to create your own tree and able to be successful with it. So I hope I see you in the next reading, because you get the new moon there. That's it. You will plant a seed there, right? That's a very important moment. And I do not give you the reading beforehand. I don't like doing that, because then it's like, I told you so and you were influenced. No, I want you to feel this moment and be like, okay, I'm going to create a ceremony. I'm going to do a moment of letting really myself hang into the new moon, let go and pray, right? And be in my center, because the 9 has come up, the 9 of Pentacles, Venus in Virgo. So she's speaking clearly to you, and you are ready for this moment to recognize that yourself, because that's what I want. I want you to become aware through these readings. Okay, she's doing the readings on the day the moon is in my sign. So I get your energy, right? And I don't influence you. I don't want to influence you. You get my reading after. So you learning to follow yourself, the moon, and recognize, when do I have my new moon and when do I have my full moon. And I am letting you know right now, next time you have your new moon. And so we will see what's coming up there. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.